Hello, I am interviewing Mix Arena Alejo, and we are interviewing them on the career of being an arts administrator. So, could you please give us a brief introduction to your career and the goals to the career?
Hi everyone, my name is Irina. I use they, them, theirs, and I'm an arts administrator at Stanford University. My office is called Office of the Vice President for the Arts, and because my role is pretty vague, I'm able to do lots of random things, but primarily I work in grants. So I help manage money that we allocate for students so that they can pursue different things like art projects and bringing in scholars and holding student events.
So, how's your work life and the experience? And on a typical day, what do you do?
So for now, because it's still the pandemic, we're working from home because we're non-essential staff. So during this time, I start my day at 7:30 in the morning and I send emails, and I also have meetings with students if they have any questions on their art projects. And I also have attend staff meetings. And I usually end my day at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But before the pandemic, because I had to commute to go to Stanford, I live in San Francisco, so I always took the Caltrain every day, and I would wake up at 5 in the morning so that I can get to work by 7:30 in the morning, and I would I would be able to go home at like 7 p.m. So it's kind of like high school when you have a full day, when you wake up super early and then you finish classes and then you have after school activities. It's kind of like that because also the commute was really long. But for now, it's a little bit it's a little bit manageable right now since we're working remotely.
So, what drew you to this job, and how did you get into it? And what would you think would make someone a good fit for this career?
So firstly, I'm an artist, and I was always really interested in the business side and the admin side of arts. So like how do you make money, or how do you make sure that you have funding for your projects? How do I work in a team and learn how to collaborate? On how do I be able to work with different schools or community organizations? And so that's kind of how I got started in looking into working as an arts administrator, because in my art practice, I needed to learn how to be business minded. And what would make someone a good fit for this career is, hmm, it's so broad, right? Because then an arts administrator could also be someone who doesn't work in grants, but they could be curating arts exhibitions, or they can also learn more of the finance side, and they learn how to work with people who want to donate money to the school. So there are different types of being an arts administrator, and what makes what can make someone being a good fit is just being open to the different pathways and also following what your values are. So for me, my values are learning how to connect with community, and also learning how to really look for me as an arts admin of color. It's really important for me to continue connecting with staff of color, and also continue supporting students of color and BIPOC students, first generation students, and queer students like me. So it's really important that I represent who I am in the space, because I know someone else is looking to connect and also looking for that support.
Can you think of any downsides to this career or any regrets this career has caused you?
So it's a lot of screen time, and I already, everyone in my family wears glasses, so it hasn't gotten better. Um, I think before I was an after school program teacher, so I worked with middle schoolers. So we're always walking around and going on field trips. and it was more social in that way. But for now, because I look at the computer a lot and I look at spreadsheets and send emails, so it's taken a toll on my eyes. And and I don't really have any regrets. I think this is kind of my dream job, but I wish that it's more a larger thing, like, you know how people are rethinking about the way we work, and not having to work 5 days a week and 40 hours a week, that kind of thing that my parents and my grandparents really instilled in me. I think there are ways to think about working every day and also being able to enjoy. So, like, how do I be able to, like, play the violin on my breaks? Or how do I um, exercise outside or catch up with a friend? So, those are things that's kind of hard in this job because of how fixed I am in one space. And also, I'm just staring at a screen all day right now, but it's really fun to continue learning because I'm also um, it, yeah, I think I'm also learning what it's like to I guess to learn about larger institutions like Stanford in my role, and especially how they want to support students and they want to continue working to be more mindful of how they can improve and support students they've struggled being able to support, which are mostly BIPOC students.
So, how do promotions work for this career?
That's a great question. Can you expand a little bit more on what you mean by promotion?
Oh, so is it even a possible pathway to somehow, is there an idea of someone getting promoted in the field? And is how do they like get to higher positions and such?
That's great. And I think for me, I'm a junior staff, so that means I just started, and I've been working in this job for a little bit more than a year now. And in order to how do promotions work in my field? Well, I think because it's still kind of a corporate structure with Stanford Arts, um, that I have a manager and my manager has a manager, and then it keeps going up and up and up and up. So the promotions would be based on, I guess, mm, how well I set goals every year and how well I meet them. It's not really like school that you we have grades, and it's more self-grading. So I set goals that I want to reach in the year, and my manager helps me see if it's doable. And and I think it takes a little bit longer. So it's not going to be in a year that I'll get promoted. It might be 5 years, and people stay in this career for uh, like 30, 40 years.
So, how do I get started in this career if I want to get into it? And are there internships available?
It really depends on your interest. So the arts, the arts is so big, right? Because then someone could be interested in music, someone can be interested in fashion, or someone can be interested in how let's see, music, fashion, social justice work. There's so many things, and it's really as simple as maybe checking out your local museum, or there are so many arts organizations. If in your high school, if you have an art teacher, and or say you're part of an after school program or club that's related to the arts, you can definitely ask them or connect with local orgs that work. So right now, what's really big is how um, arts organizations are learning how to support artists during this time. Because of the pandemic, a lot of artists have lost jobs. So someone who is a musician, they can't perform live anymore, or someone, especially someone also in theater or in dance. So there are so many ways that we can get involved, and it's simply asking, and you can also contact me. There are internships available. So, uh, I mean, I'm sure Hitomi knows Vanessa. uh, Vanessa and her family run an art program, so and an art gallery. So that's one of the ways also, just locally in your neighborhood. And yeah, it's just asking. And also if you're interested in your artistic side. So there are artists in arts administration like me.
So how has this career changed you as a person, and has it grown any new traits in you, expanded feelings you previously had, or anything else?
I've met some really great friends during this time. So I think it's changed me in the way I think about work. I don't, let's see, this is my first full-time job. So it's a big deal for me because before I was always working part-time and I didn't also know how to really support my family. So with this job, because it's full-time and I have benefits, I'm able to support my family with buying groceries, helping pay for bills and rent. And it's changed me in terms of that stability, which is really important. And I feel very privileged and lucky that I work from home because there are so many folks during this time in the pandemic that can't work from home. Like I think about farm workers who can never work from home, or janitors, custodians at hospitals, and even now teachers are also expected to be back at school, right, with reopening. So it's really given me a perspective of privilege. I feel very privileged to work in my position and that I can also use that responsibly and support others.
Do you have any additional comments regarding your occupation as an arts administrator?
Yeah, like I said, for arts administrators, it's very broad. So for me, I'm also a photographer. And so there are ways that I can use my photography skills in my everyday job. For instance, we hold programs, right? So we invite artists from all over the world. And sometimes when we don't have a professional photographer there, I just come in with my own equipment and take photos of the event. So there are different ways to do that. And what's great also about being an artist and an arts administrator is that there's the idea of being able to be both at the same time. So I get to think like an artist when I'm supporting students who are applying for grants, or this is their first time like applying for anything overall, or it's their first time naming that they're artists. That's really important to understand how to come out as an artist because everyone is an artist. So it's it's exciting in that way that I get to use my lens as someone who makes art to do that.
Thank you so much for letting us interview you.